Good morning, friends. Welcome back. I'm Motorcycle Pastor. Today is February the 14th, and this is the morning when we get to rise with the sun together, where we have the opportunity to rely upon His holy word. Not just today, but every day of our lives when we open Scripture. This morning I'd like to read to you from 2 Kings, the 25th chapter. Verse 30 says, "And for his allowance, a regular allowance was given him by the king, according to his daily needs, as long as he lived." I'm going to use Charles Spurgeon's Morning by Morning to launch into Scripture today with you. Here's what he writes. Jehoiachin was not sent away from the king's palace with provision to last him for months, but it was given to him as a daily supply. In this, he provides us with a picture of the happy position of all the Lord's people. A daily portion is all that a man really wants. We do not need tomorrow's supplies. That day has not yet dawned, and its wants are as yet unborn. The experience that we may suffer in the month of June does not need to be quenched all the way in February, for we do not feel it yet. If we have enough for each day as the day arrives, we shall never know want in all our lives. Sufficient for the day is all that we can enjoy. We cannot eat or drink or wear more than the day's supply of food and clothing. The more we have, the more we have to store, and we worry about it being stolen. One cane helps a traveler, but a bundle of sticks is a heavy burden to bear. Enough is not only as good as a feast, but it is all that the greediest glutton can truly enjoy. See, that is all that we should expect then. A craving for more than this is truly ungrateful. When our Father does not give us more, we should be content with his daily allowance. Jehoiachin's case is ours. We have a sure portion, a portion given to us by the king, and it's a gracious portion and a perpetual portion. Here is surely ground for thankfulness. Beloved Christian, in matters of grace, you need a daily supply. You have no store of strength on your own. Day by day, you must seek help from above. It is a very happy assurance that you are provided with this, a regular allowance. Never go hungry while the daily bread of grace is provided for you on the table of mercy. Imagine, brothers and sisters. Maybe we don't even have to imagine. Maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe we need to remember as we look at our lives. Who's setting the table and what are we setting it with? I love Spurgeon the way he mentioned the glutton, because we often think of the glutton as somebody fat and happy and eating away. But why are they eating? If they're already satisfied, is it truly out of an abundance of joy, or is it out of some dark and wormy desire inside that they can't satisfy because the food has already satisfied the needs of the body? And that's what this scripture is getting at. The daily providence, what is provided, has already been allotted to you. Is it safety? Perhaps you're not happy with where you live, but you have a roof over your head. Perhaps you dream of living in one of those gated communities with security and all this other stuff. But is it enough to have a roof over your head? Perhaps you dream of that table being set with the buffet smorgasbord and, oh God, but this is what I need. When really the fact that even though you were hungry today and somebody bought you a meal, it was enough. Perhaps you dream of owning a car and not having to worry about getting back and forth and doing what you want and being able to park it and go. But the fact that the bus was there to take you to a doctor or across town was enough. See, oftentimes we confuse our human desires for more with a lack of God's providence. And that truly is a confusion, because God has provided enough. Imagine right now you're looking at the internet, listening to someone else read to you from God's holy word and providing you an exhortation on the same subject. Not just one, but two. I'm using Charles Spurgeon as well as myself. Imagine all that God is providing for your soul, to encourage you, to trust, to look to Him, to rely upon His providence for today, and knowing that each and every day He will provide for you. See, brothers and sisters, it's not God's lack of providing. It's our lack of being willing to be content with what He has provided. You know, one of the best phrases I think I ever heard when I was a far younger individual, first in the Marine Corps across, and I was outside of church, and it said, contentment is wanting what you have. I remember that. It really challenged me. Such simple words, but I thought about it. Do I really want all I have? Am I more worried about protecting it? Am I more worried about how I provide for it? If it's cars, do I have the insurance? Do I have the repairs? Where was I turning blessings into curses? Do I want all I have? I share this with you because in recent years, numerous times, as I have moved for calls to churches and now across the world, I've downsized every time. Taught my children to do the same. We've given away far more than I could ever imagine. Sometimes we sold things to get where we're at. But most often, I watched the delight of others who were receiving, who were looking for things. And most importantly, I found the joy of not having. You see, the things that I had, in some ways, pardon that sound in the background, had become a burden. They had become, rather than a blessing, a burden. Once I started giving away, I realized I was fully in need of God's mercy, knew each and every day I needed Him to provide where I'm at now. And you know what? Every time God has. Not according to my desires, but according to His goodness and His providence, I have had what I needed. And He will do that same thing for you, brothers and sisters. I invite you and encourage you to rely upon God. Ask Him for what you need. And it's okay if you throw wants in there too. But understand, if He doesn't provide for your desires, that's often because what you really need is to be reliant upon Him, not upon yourself. Our desires would often separate us from Him. So brothers and sisters, as you go out into the world today, I pray for you that God will continue to provide for your needs rather than your desires, and that you will reflect a contentment and His joy into this world, that you might speak to a God who provides, sharing that with everyone you meet. I'm Motorcycle Pastor. I look forward to seeing you in the evening.